Hey everybody, I'm going to show you what you need to know to make the around the block. Okay, that was funny. No, not really. So what you do is you've already got your 2.5-inch strips that you've already sewn in a lighter and a darker color, and you've got those ready to go. That was kind of the starting point that I had in a previous video. So what you're going to do then is you're going to match up your selvages, and you are going to cut them. Be very careful. This is a difficult angle for me to work with here, but I'm trying to show you all in one place. I'm sorry I went off the camera there. If you'll hold it down here, and cut across the selvage right there, and make it as straight as you can. You don't have to be as picky about this. This is a very forgiving block, and the way that I do it is once I cut the selvages off, then I come down and I cut it in half. And I'm holding on to the seam, and I've got my hand back far enough that I'm not going to get it in the way, and I had a little bit of pressure up with my scissors. Okay, so now you have two pieces, and you are going to need to fold this one more time and match your ends up down here. It's okay if it's a little bit off. You're going to have extra, and if you don't like squaring up, then maybe this block is not for you, because you're going to have to square up. I don't like squaring up, but this is not really that bad. So you're going to be holding back here and putting some pressure out with your scissors and cutting apart. So you're going to end up making 4 pieces. Let me do this last one. Making 4 pieces out of your strip set that you had made up. Okay, let me do this one too. Okay, so once you have that, you are going to take a 5-inch square that you have chosen that either matches, complements, or will be a background. So that's your choice, what you would like to make it. And so you're going to have to choose which way you want your strips to go. So do you want, and you'll probably have to preview it, do you want, like this one, do you want the green here? And you can't tell by just doing one. You're going to have to lay them all out. And as you can see, you're going to have extra here. You might not can see, but you're going to have a little extra, because this block, when I've been sewing it, it kind of pulls a little bit, and you're going to, and just in case your seams are not exactly right here where you've sewed your strip sets together, then you've got a little extra here to square it up, and it makes it forgiving when you do that. This is not one of those blocks that you can chain piece very well, but it does go pretty fast after you have your 2 strips done. So I was clipping my threads back. My thread cutter in my sewing machine does not work. So you have to decide, do you want it like this? And I'd put them all the way around and look at it. Or do you want it like this, all the way around? And it's strictly your preference. It doesn't matter either way. It's going to look good. So I am going to do this one with the green towards my background. Okay, so the background is just a 5-inch square that you've cut. You're going to need 20 of those for the quilt. You're going to need a set of 40 strips that are sewn in sets of 2. And that's all the fabric you're going to need except for binding and backing. So let me show you what you do, because you are going to have a Y seam in here. And so you line it up at the top on one side, and then you just start sewing. You don't have to back stitch there, but you will have to back stitch when you come down here because you're going to stop short. And you're going to have to back stitch. Okay. And you're going to have to leave yourself at least a 1/4 of an inch. If you leave a little bit more, that's fine. You're going to be able to go back and stitch over that, but you need at least 1/4 of an inch. Go ahead and fold that back. It is ideal that you actually iron between each piece, but if you do a real good finger press right there, then you are going to be good. So the next thing I would do is I would come all the way over here. I would leave this side open. And I don't really think there's a particular way to do it, but this is what kind of works for me. So you're going to make sure that you've got your green going down on your background. And line that up really good. And sew down the side. 1/4 of an inch. Make sure you come all the way to the end. Make sure you got it lined up good. And I've got a little fold there that's making it a little difficult. And you don't have to back stitch there. So I'm going to open this up. Let me get these threads right here. Then I'm going to open this up for you. And you're going to have to finger press this back really good. Get it as flat as you can. Then you're going to come through and you're going to put this side in. You're going to put your green towards that. So you're going to have to put it right sides together. Line that up with the edge right there. And then sew. And I'm just holding it down here because this is where it tends to slide around because you've got so much weight on the other end of the block. So I just kind of hold my finger down, but I make sure that I don't get it in the sewing machine. Okay, clip your threads, and then you just got 2 more seams. It looked like you would have just one, but you've got to go back and tack that little seam that you left. So let me come over here. And so this time you're going to flip this extra back, and you're going to flip it out of your way. You're going to flip it on back out of your way. You're going to take your last strip, and you're going to put it on your background square, just like you've done the rest of them. Make sure that you got that lined up to the corner of the background. And I could have gave myself a little bit more room. That would have been nice right here, but it's still going to work just fine. And you don't have to back stitch there. Just make sure everything's lined up all the way to the end. And you don't have to sew all the way out past where your other strip is. You can just go ahead and stop early. And then you're going to finger press this back. Make it nice and flat as you can. Then you're going to fold this over like you've never even came across here. And you're going to see where you've came up here before. And you're going to line all of that up. Be nice to cut your threads. not my best suit. Is thread management is not my best suit. I like getting some sewing done. So you're going to do a couple stitches, back stitch, and then you are going to make sure everything is lined up good. And you're going to go out to the edge. Okay. And this is what you got so far. Whoop, it's hard to see, isn't it? Got you a little close. But this is what you've got so far. That's easier to see. So then you're going to come through and you are going to square you need to iron it good first. And then you're going to square it up. And if you have like a little bow like right here, and then this out here is a little bit, like it's a little bit wider right there, but then it bows in right here, you can go ahead and make it straight across to the longest point, as long as that's not well within the 1/4 inch where you're going to hide it in a seam. Now, if it's real close to 1/4 inch, then I would go ahead and cut off any extra where it's wider out here. So I wanted to show you this, and then I'm going to shoot another video of how you square it up. Okay, so I have that block that I just sewn, and I have it all nice and pressed. And I'm going to come back, and I'm going to take my ruler. Sorry, I moved the camera. Didn't mean to. Got tight quarters here. So I'm going to go through here, and this is exactly what I was talking about. You're going to line up, maybe not, I might have it right. You're going to take and check and see how straight you are. So I like to use one of these smaller lines on my ruler, but I make sure that I look at the same one across. Let me turn it this way where I can actually see more lines. And so like this 1/2 inch mark, you want to make sure that you have it going all the way across through there. And so now you can see, which I need to move it down before I cut, but now you can see what I was talking about. This is why you need to square it up, because it's going to be, I know it's going to get cut off right here, but it's still going to be wider in some spots than it is in the others, because that's just the way that this pulls when you are sewing it. So let me get my ruler out here just like it needs to be, and I will trim this up right quick. I've got those little things on there to keep it from sliding, and it makes it a little difficult sometimes to actually get things done. I'm sorry I moved, y'all. I promise I changed this from the last time that I had a video. I promise. I can go through a rotary blade like nothing. Like it's nothing. So then you just turn it and you just keep doing that all the way around. And so we'll see how this one turns out. I got it on the 1/2. There you go. I can push that out just a little bit. Still looks good. Cut that off. It may be operator failure with the rotary cutter. Imagine that. So you'll continue cutting all the way around and squaring it up. And then when you get through, you're going to have blocks that look like these. And that's how you make the block for a round the block quilt. And I will show a shot of when I have this one finished, and I will show a shot of the one that I did out of ombre fabric. And that way you can see how it looks different whenever you're using different kinds of fabric. Not everybody's got ombre, and not everybody's got, like Riley Blake fabric, but this would give you an idea on how to do this with any fabric, any jelly roll that's got contrasting colors. And so I'll be sure and put those snips in there so you can see those. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Just every time I have an idea to share with you, I'm going to try to make a video. I appreciate you spending time with me. Have a good evening.